Good morning, good afternoon, folks. It's your man on Ray George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, your boy got a busy weekend. Oh, we got some big shows coming up. Within the same week. I mean, two here in the States and one in Japan. I just got off of an interview with the lovely Mrs. Tiana Flex and her dear husband, Mr. Tony Flex. As you know, right now they're in Japan getting ready for the Masters Olympia. And also on this weekend, we have here the Tupelo Pro, and we have this show, which is probably one of the biggest paydays outside of the Olympia for women's physique, and that is the Texas Pro. It's being sponsored by Batter Up Productions. Shout out to them. You know, and this year was going to add women's bodybuilding, but stuff happens, whatever. But maybe next year we will have it, and that'd be a great show for me to go to. I mean, I wanted to go this year, but but who cares? But let's just move on. So, anyways, the list came out a couple of days ago, and because I'm so busy with the stuff I'm doing from Tampa, and then these shows and stuff and interviews I'm getting. So I just took some time and put together the list. Now, the list is pretty extensive. Now, there's some changes to it, and I'll talk about that later. But first off, we have here is the lovely Miss Ariel Gale. Now, she's been competing for quite a long time. She turned pro about a couple years ago in North America, so this will be her pro debut. Next is the lady who I follow, the lovely Mrs. Modessa Hemingston. And, it was Hall B, but now her married name is Hemingston. We last seen her at the Romania Muscle Fest. She also did the Tupelo Pro last year, but now she's doing this show. Next up, we have is a lady we have not seen in quite some time, the lovely Mrs. You might know better as Brittany Watts or Brittany Flex, another Flex, but she goes by her married name, Brittany Herrera. It's been since 2021 since the last time we saw Brittany. She was doing, she did two shows, the Atlanta and Chicago Pro. Those both were in Florida during the pandemic. Because remember they were doing they did Chicago Pro in Atlanta one year, and they did New York Pro also in Florida because they wanted to keep the shows going, so they moved into another states where more friendly and less concerned about the virus spreading. Next up, we have here the lovely Miss Taylor Aragi. As you know, Miss Aragi made her women's physique debut at Tampa. I was there. And remember, this was the same Tampa that she made her bodybuilding debut about a couple years ago. And now she's doing this show. I even was talking on social media saying she wasn't sure what she's going to do. So she jumped on this show. So let's see how she does. She took 5th place at this show, especially making her WPD debut. We have here one of Miss Jennifer Johnson. She's competed last year. She did the Daytona show. As you know, this year they will not have Women's Open, but we still have the Masters. Next up, we have the lady who's been a guest on my channel a couple of times. I'm a fan of her. I think she's a beautiful woman, amazing person, the lovely Mrs. Marika Jones. But about her, I'll tell you about another video, and it's going to be wild. You'll think it's wild. We have here one Miss Alexandra Curie. I think they missing out her name. Her name is different from what actually spelled, but I'm just going by Curie, where I seen on the list. Next up, we have here the lady who's been in this show quite often, the lovely Miss Lexi Lowry. Now, she's been in this show quite a few times, but she last competed at the Legion Sports Festival. As you know, that was the last year they had women's physique. That was the year Yvonne Pennington got her second Olympic qualification. And you remember she got a qualification a couple of years before that. But now, no more women's physique or figure at this show. But, let's see how well the lovely young Miss Lowry does. Next up we have is one Miss Brooke Piggin. And it's been a while. She liked to compete. I think she's been a couple of years she liked to compete. As you know, she's originally from Canada. I know my man David interviewed a while back. Great physique. Great potential. Let's see how she does. Next up, we have is lovely Miss Christine Porter. And Miss Porter did a couple of shows this year. She did both Chicago and the Ultima Classic. She's been getting quite some time. She did both Masters and Open at the Chicago Pro. And since Texas doesn't do Masters, but I'm surprised. We would have jumped on Tupelo. They have both Masters and Open, but there's a chance of maybe getting $15,000, or as you know, top 10 competitors still get $1,000. That's better than nothing. And next up we have here she told me she's coming to this show, and I say, why are you coming to this show? I'm thinking in my head, sit your young butt down. But she is a game competitor, and that is Paula Ranta. Great physique. You see in person is one thing, we see on the stage and video, but we see it in person, wow. and 25 years old. She's still growing and developing. So I got to give a shout out to her. Next up we have here is the lovely Mrs. Blanca Rodriguez, and I had the pleasure of having her on my channel. As you know, she last competed last year at Tampa, and she recently moved from Florida to Las Vegas. She's been working with a lot of competitors, also doing as a coach. I saw she was working with Susan Graham a while back, training together. She's done the show before, and it's possible she's a top 5, top 10 contender. She's a present physique. I'm a fan of Blanca. And last but not least, we have another lady who's been a guest on my channel, the lovely Mrs. Jessica Uribe. And, she did a couple of shows this year. She did Ultima, and she last did Chicago. Impressive lady, coach and trainer. I know she was talking about doing a show, but I didn't think she could do another. I thought maybe, Texas, she lives in Texas, so that's in her own backyard, so why not? So, a local girl. So, I think she's a top 10 competitor. And, at least $1,000 is better than nothing. Now, as you know, missing from the show is the last year's champion, Zama Benitez. Zama won the Tampa Bay Pro for the second time. She was going to do a show, besides she dropped out. That's good, because this gets opportunity for anybody to get that title. I think there's a couple of people who I think can probably win the qualification show. And, it's all dependent. But, with Zama out of the way, is a great opportunity. And here's a lady I also got to meet at Tampa. That is the lovely Dr. Megan Barbara. Now, she was originally on the list when they first put it out. But then she dropped out. It had to be, because usually if you put your name on the list and, you only way you can drop out without paying a fine if she is under a bit of the weather. I know I'm talking to people that was at the show that you got a little sick because, the venue was a little bit cold. Also, the weather going inside and out, hot and cold, can affect your sinus and stuff like that. I know when I talked to her, both me and David, she told us that she was planning to do Atlanta. So if she gets better, I think she might shoot for Atlanta. And that'd probably be a better idea. Like, this was her debut at Tampa in women's physique. Impressive. I mean, took a second behind Zama, meaning she beat out a couple ladies like Susan Matheson and Paula Ranta, who are Olympic qualified competitors. So I tell you something. So I think Atlanta probably the best bet for her, or maybe do another show, but let's see how she does. Missing from the show, usually a usual suspect of the show, is last year's Best Poser winner, Elisa Kissling, aka the Classic Queen. She's done the show for quite some time, but I'm surprised she's not on the list. I look at it, I say, wow, no Elisa? So my guess she's focused on something else, or she might see her come back next year. Or maybe do another show. She was going to do Legions last year, but she dropped out of the show. Maybe she might try to do the Rising Phoenix. There's still some shows that get opportunities for Olympic qualification. And here is the list for figure. I'm not going to go too deep into this because there's a lot of ladies I don't recognize or know. As you know, last year's champion, Jessica Uribe, right now is over in Japan defending her title from 2023 as the figure champion, Master Olympian. But also she's possibly be the next Mr. Olympia. I cross my fingers not. But one lady I recognize is Rhea Gale. Now, Rhea is from Great Britain, but she lives in Texas. She moved there a few years ago after she got married. Last year she got a qualification at Tupelo. So I think she feels now with Jessica out of the way, this could possibly get her Olympic qualification. So so why not? We don't have the big threat of Jessica Reyes-Padilla. I'm surprised not as more bodies keep on the show, but people take their time. And one young lady who I follow in a impressive physique is Christina Zamarova. If you got the name wrong, I apologize. 24 years old. She's done at least 4 shows. 2 of them she was second runner up to one lady that was already Olympic qualified. So this possibly, depending, like I suggested that I think she should do American shows because Europe, I think they have a particular look to it, compared to the American figure competitors. Yeah, they want the girls to look extreme good conditioning, but I think she might do good in American shows more than European shows. Maybe not this show. Maybe next year might see her do some more shows here in the States. But as you know, the cost of traveling from Slovenia to America, visa issues, yada yada. So we might see her if she doesn't get the qualification in this show. Maybe she might. There's still some shows like there's the coming up in a month from now is going to be the new actually Europa, which is now being promoted by Dennis James, and that's in Germany. So maybe that's a possibility for her. She's still young. She's like Paula. They're both in their 20s. They can bounce back the next day. But she has the opportunity. And like I said again, with Jessica Rabbit out of the chase for the Olympia qualification in Texas, it could go either way between her and maybe a couple of others. One person I would hope to see, because we haven't seen it since the Ultimate Classic, that is Melissa Bronsky. And I'm a fan of her. She has a great physique. Some say, because she's friends with Richard Daniels, who I got to see at Tampa. Wow, it's a great experience to go to Tampa. Maybe, I don't know. I think I see potential of her going to WPD. Maybe take the year off. Don't do like Paula, compete in figure then jump over or something like, or also I think Coley Amani did the same thing. Take a year or so, grow, bring conditioning. You're just about there at it. And I think it probably would fit her. I think maybe she might stay in figure for one more time, but I think she might take the year more off to grow and bring conditioning and do women's physique. Like, remember, Santana, Barbara, Megan Santana, Barbara, she went over from figure to physique, and now she was number 2 behind Paula Zama. And she probably might get her Olympic qualification this year. So let's wait and see what she's going to do. We might see her take a year off or more, maybe stay sick with figure, but I think she has potential for women's physique. Now, Texas Pro, it's Pro-Ams, I think the amateur show is going to be tomorrow, and then the pro show is going to be Saturday. Where I watch my review, money's kind of tight right now. The trip it wasn't too expensive a trip, but still, I live on a budget and I got to stretch my dollars. So I'm not going to see it. I mean, but if anybody who's there, watch it, check it out, share some pictures, some videos, reach out to people like me, Female Bodybuilding Channel, David, Claudio, or even my man Kale's not much about the bodybuilding part, but, we would love to see some stuff, ladies who are competing there who watch this video on YouTube, or also if I tag you, because I know some ladies do have YouTube channels on here that I can tag them, so they let me know. Just shoot to me. I mean, or maybe do an interview, maybe after the show, maybe a week later, once everything calm down and you feel better. Like I said, I really want to really grow my channel, and this opportunity going to Tampa really helped that. And I hope all the best for the competitors. This is a show that's really open to anybody. But I feel like there's 2 or 3 women who has the opportunity to get the I think it's $10,000. Was it 15? No, it's $10,000 because more than 10 because 15 for the first place, and then the rest are like so many different prizes, and then you get up from 6 all the way to 10, you still get $1,000. So that's a good reason to do the show. Think about it. The cost of even spending for all those stuff you got to do, your suits and everything else, and then you can make about $1,000 just to compete there. Even though it may not be cover the cost of everything, but at least you have some money in your pocket. And with your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, don't like, subscribe. I am out.